What's up? We got actor, comedian Chris Kennedy in the house. How you doing, Chris
I'm here,
Kennedy?
man. How you doing, man? I'm feeling great, Craig.
Yeah, right on, right on. Now I understand you from Philly, right?
I'm from Philly. Been living in LA for the last 3 years. It's been such a beautiful thing.
Okay.
A lot of sunshine.
I gotta ask you this. Do you know Meek Mill?
Meek Mill. Oh yeah, Meek Mill the boy. That's my homeboy. I actually worked with Meek. Meek was one of those dudes who kind of recognized the grind early when I started, and he would just like put me in his videos. I'm actually in a video that I did with Meek and Wale called 100. It's on YouTube. Probably like 6 million people. I'm battle rapping them. You know what I mean? Battle rapping Meek and Wale. Yeah, Meek the homie, man. I'm always motivated by what Meek done. So yeah, it's definitely a love there. It's brotherly.
So, what about Beanie Siegel?
Beanie Siegel, Desert Eagle, the 4 or the 5. Pressure bust pipes, time to supply it now. Get a small town and lock it down. Yeah, I know Beans. We know each other. It's been some time since we've seen each other, but it's all love. I'm in my city. I'm connected, man. Like anybody that's somebody know me. You ain't from Philly if you don't know me. I don't care what part of the city you from. I probably got, as far as comedy was, I probably got the biggest urban street influence in Philadelphia. That's the facts. That's the facts. You know what I mean? Like, I can walk y'all through the hood, any hood, and y'all gonna have all y'all cameras. All y'all cameras gonna be still with y'all. You can't get that from everybody, but you'll get it from me, though. So that's the type of love. Oh, yeah, you'll be loud. They'll be like, hey, yo, Chris, he's with you? Yeah, he with me. That's my bro.
So we're the midgets.
Oh, the midgets? You know what? I was going to bring the little 2 big-head midgets that I'm dating right now, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, they make me feel special. I told you I was going to bring them. I started to bring them. Next time, I'm going to bring them because you might think I'm playing when I say I got 2 little midgets. They got big butts and big heads. I called them little nod off in them. You ain't never dated a midget before?
No, actually, my wife is probably about the same size as me, height-wise.
Height-wise?
She's a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Skinnier than me.
Well, listen, if you was ever in jail, you could sneak my midget in there.
I'll try to stay out. So let's talk about how you got your start in comedy, because from what I understand, you started in comedy, correct?
Yeah, I do stand-up comedy. I started as a stand-up comedian. Actually, what happened was I just got tired of like being in the streets. I feel like it was something needed. You didn't know what it was. I always was a funny guy. I was like one of the guys that all the hustlers would call their little brother, and you know, they put me around their girlfriends, let me entertain them in IHOP for hours as a kid. Yeah. And it's crazy because even when I look back as a kid, I used to be like a bad kid in the Chinese store, the local Chinese store, and people would just crowd the Chinese stores like, yo, he's in the Chinese store. This guy's funny. So, you know, I think I already had a stage as a kid to be performing in the Chinese store to have him packed. And then I guess when I look up years later, like, I can do this. I can really do this. And I start, I was like packing, like, I was doing my own shows, put my own shows together. I took that hustling mentality and brought it to comedy. You know what I mean? Booked the venue and basically promoted myself. And I was getting big, 700-800 people in the building. And I remember a promoter by the name of Danny Diamonds reached out to me. This when Young Jeezy first came out, and he was coming to Philadelphia. This was the first Young Jeezy, Trap or Die. They like, yo, man, you need to come host this Jeezy show. These people mess with you. And the next thing you know, I was hosting Jeezy. And then I booked Mike Blackson. I booked Mike Blackson for a show because, you know, you got to be a hustler. Yeah. I booked Mike Blackson, and Mike Blackson told me, he said, look, man, what you got is something different. I've never seen nobody like you in terms of all these characters. And he said, look, man, when I go to L.A., I'm doing this movie called Repo. Cat Williams was in at the time when Cat was, like, at the top of the game. Yes, I was the hot Cat Williams. Just put some respect on my name. I just So Mike Blackson told me, man, look, I'm going to tell P about you, Master P about him. I said, all right, cool. You know, I just took it as a grain of salt. Next thing you know, I remember just randomly one day, I get a call from Mike. He's like, what you doing, my nigga? I'm like, what you mean when I'm doing? He said, I'm ready to do the movie. How fast can you come to L.A.? I said, how fast can I come to LA, nigga? Right now. You know what I'm saying? Looked up. Mike kept his word. I came out, met Master P, and you know the thing people don't know is that when they had this movie Repo, you know a lot of people was in there. A.J. Johnson, Michael Blackson, of course. It was a lot of people in there, and at this time, Cat Williams at the top of the game. He made $20 million a year. You know, I was watching. You know what I'm saying? So people don't know. I was supposed to just have a walk by scene in this movie. But I told myself I want to come in 3,000 miles to be walking by in no movie. And I said, you know what? I got the set at 7 o'clock. The first shoot was at 8. I sat back and I watched from a distance. And I said, you know what, Chris? You ain't come this far just walking by in the scene. And I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just go out there. And if they're going to like it or not, it wasn't even my scene. And I walked right into Michael Blackson's scene with somebody else. And that's when the noise I be making kind of became a big thing, that whole pop noise, and my character Train. I just threw him right out there, and I just heard everybody start laughing, and Master P was like, hey, now don't stop the camera. You gotta let him go. He just like a Eddie Griffin. Let him go, man. And that was the history. That's how I got started, and that's how I ain't looked back to this point now.
So it looks like you got a pretty good relationship with Master P, because you've been in a few of these movies.
Yeah, people don't know, this is my 7th project with Master P. We actually, we haven't seen, I did Repo back in 2006, 2007, and after I did Repo, I did a film called The Black Superman with my boy Tony Cox. And Master P actually put on a superhero costume, and he let me kind of like play a whole different character. And these movies are going worldwide distribution. This was like before the whole Instagram craze. It was like MySpace era. So, you know, Pete just kept putting me in projects. He's like, man, you dealing with something that I ain't familiar with, but I'm gonna make it work for you, Chris. And when you look up, the people gonna love you. And this is my 7th project. And we actually, in November the 1st, a couple of weeks from away, my first time going to theater in a movie with David Banner and Carucci and Lil Romeo and Master P's actually in. This was like when we reunited at the time I seen him from Repo, and never heard the movie. Going to be in theaters, 600 theaters worldwide. So, you know, I'm back with the big homie, you know what I mean? And, of course, you know, he turned me loose again, putting me in my biggest film to date, which is I Got the Hookup 2 coming out in May. And he just let me off the leash, man. Working with P is an organic thing. He just kind of like let you own it. You want the moment, he give you the moment. It's up to you what you're going to do with it, you know what I mean? And I feel like I took advantage of it.
You know, being with Master P for so long. I mean, how is he as a regular person? Because I met him one time through my son plays AAU basketball. He has a son that's plays basketball, and I know his whole family.
Yeah, a few sons and them dudes play ball.
His whole family, they're all in the ball, and so I got a chance to meet him one time. He just seems so down to earth. I mean, tell me, like, you know, for anybody who doesn't know Master P, like, you know, like, how is he? Like,
well, the 100 Master P, that's my big homie. That's big. That's big homie to me. That's big bro. Anybody that be around P and on set with P and I'm around, they can see it. It's not with me and him. It's not a forced relationship. It's not like, oh, that's P and I'm gonna hide over there. No, I'm charging my phone in the Phantoms. I'm jumping on the bodyguards. You know what I mean? I'm talking ish. You know what I mean? P is probably one of the. You know what I mean? He's one of the all-time hip-hop cash kings. One of the guys who helped shape hip-hop in terms of the South. And if you're around him and you know him, he's going to show you great love, man. The way you mess yourself up with P is you just got to be on some clown stuff. If you on some clown stuff and you ain't authentic to who you is, then you ain't going to get P. He ain't going to get you because he's a guy that's going to give you opportunity and let you work. And to me, it's always been like family with me. I remember like all his sons that you say play AAU. Yeah. I watched them when they was like, they used to be like I used to be in Calabasas before I even knew what Calabasas was. Before Drake started saying Calabasas and everybody knew it to be famous. Like, I've been in Calabasas. I didn't know it was what it was. It was just like I'm at P house and you know what I mean. I remember I was the only dude that was allowed in P kitchen. when his wife was there cooking that New Orleans gumbo. Yeah, you know what I mean? This was on a time when the whole Hurricane Katrina situation happened. That was the time. It's crazy because this is, I guess that's how the higher powers work. I actually gave some clothes to Hurricane Katrina victims in Philadelphia. I started a clothing drive. I looked up and I got connected to P. So I guess that's the way the blessing was. And I remember when I did meet him, P had Greyhound buses. P had the whole New Orleans living over here when I met him. You know what I'm saying? So I think that speak more volumes than just, you know, and everybody, he's the guy you want to know.
Yeah.
He's the guy when you want to know. It ain't no Hollywood. You'll feel like you're talking to your cousin, man, or your brother, man. So P's that guy, 100.